here Monday evening with Tristan again.
Usually is good to be back with me,
It is.
especially if it's been a while.
Yeah, which hasn't been that long.
Yeah, actually,
Never mind.
yes, it
been a long
has
time.
been.
Yeah.
Since Wednesday night, I'm
Mm.
pretty sure.
What was Wednesday night?
We were recording
Not Wednesday.
a podcast.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
we were
so-
recording. Our recording has been gotten really off here recently, so.
And it kind of has.
Anyway, but yeah, no, it's good to be back here, recording again. Anyway, how was your week?
How was
last
my...
week.
Okay, I'm going to say it,
Since
dude.
last
Like, it's
podcast.
Monday.
It is Monday. So I guess so far this week is not went, or at least from the sounds of it. from
How
our
was
phone call,
my week?
Sounds like not very well.
Well, it was good. I'm trying to even think about really what I had going on. I didn't really do a whole lot other than I worked and I spent occasional moments with you. Occasional. But it was a good week. I think we had talked about the week before, like, you know, what weather forecast maybe our life
Yeah,
was
was
going to
it
be. And
With cloudy.
I'd say, like, it was cloudier than I expected.
Because you were thinking maybe a few clouds, but mostly sunny.
Yeah.
Those who haven't listened to the last podcast, we had brought up. Was it the last podcast? Or no,
Yeah.
it was 2 podcasts.
Maybe
ago, 'cause
2
it was
ago.
with Animals Could Talk, which you should watch that podcast or listen to it.
Animals,
You can't
yeah,
watch
that's...
it. Not only the last 2 podcasts you can
But
watch,
it was
um,
good. It was a good week overall.
Okay. We're
Did
just
you do
talking
anything
about,
profitable?
Like, what you feel like your mood was for the week are going to be. Take it as a weather and like, okay, forecast what your mood will be for the next week, what you think it could be
Right.
as
Yep.
weather. So I'm just filling them in. So cloudy, yeah.
Was yours sunnier than you expected, or you
It
were probably
was.
drowning in a flood or something?
No, it was actually a really good week. Well, just coming up into the resurrection, like, well, this is gonna. This week for us is coming up into Resurrection Sunday, like Good Friday, and then
Yep.
Easter and stuff. So it's gonna be off for you guys, but it was really good. Just all of that.
Yeah, it was a super good weekend, and
Yeah.
it's sure nice to have friends.
It is, yes. Getting to the topic of today, man, the value of having friends.
Is it that
Yeah.
valuable? I mean, okay, I could say, like, maybe depending on who your friends were, it could be valuable. But in my situation, like with you as a friend, I would really have to weigh how valuable it actually is.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, okay, what would you consider friends? Which might be different, being the fact that you've always been popular. But
Oh man.
like, what?
Yeah. No, I get it. So, like,
I mean, your wife's obviously.
right. So, like, I feel like there's people in my life that I work with. So, like, obviously, since I'm a farmer, I run into a lot of other, like, farmer type people that I would say I would call them a friend.
Yeah.
Like, I really would. If you were like, you know, what's Jim mean in your life? I'd be like, oh, that farmer guy? Yeah, we're friends. Like, you know, we talk some. As, like, that's, like, a very broad basis. But I would still consider you somebody that, like, I'm with a ton. You know, we have, like, we're on a lot deeper level of friendship. I would still consider us friends. So for me, the word friend is extremely broad. Like, when I think of friend, I'm like, you're a friend, and the lady that I met one time down the street, we're friends. Type of deal. That sounds really weird.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Do you disagree? Like, what do you call... So if there's different levels of this friendship thing, then what do you call it? Or how does that work?
Yeah, right. Well, that's why I like, as we're talking about, it's like the value of friendship. Or like, what is their value in friendship, or like how valuable is friendship? Like all of
Right.
those aspects. I think that changes depending on what you would consider a friend, and like I don't know, the placement they have in your life, because like
That's true.
I think a lot of people in life should be your friend, or at least you should be friendly to them. Obviously, be friendly to everybody, but like,
You said a really key point. I think friendly and friend.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's different. You need to be friendly to everybody. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be friends with everybody. But, like, that's different to me.
Yeah.
I view as, like, being friendly as, like, a, hi, how are you doing?
Right.
How's life? But you're not going to take every person in your life to the next level on like a
Right.
friend basis, I would say maybe.
Yeah.
So I think what you said there about friendly and friend
Yeah.
is key.
Yeah, it's important. No, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it is. It is interesting because I think there is a tough level and or a fine line, and you could be that person that just in a way I kind of jokingly said popular, but maybe will have like what you'd call your fringe in your life, and you like. I don't personally feel like I necessarily experienced this, but I've talked with guys who have felt this way,
Okay.
and it's like they don't really hardly truly see the value of friendship to an extent. What they would see value, like when they would think of a friendship that has value, it would be more like a marriage, like the
Right.
value of a friendship
Yeah.
with my wife or with my family or
Okay.
something like that. That's what, but mostly because I feel like what they call their friends is just so across the board, and they don't really have a depth of a friendship there, and so then it doesn't.
Maybe they don't have like
see that
some
value.
really close knit dudes that they can
Right.
like.
Which I personally feel like is important, but I'm probably coming at this and blindsided because that's what I've pretty much pursued.
Okay. So you'd consider me a friend, right? You would consider me your friend.
Depending on what you're gonna say.
No,
maybe.
you would consider me your friend. I'm
I
pretty
would,
sure.
yeah.
If somebody asked you
I would.
who's Tris in your life,
I mean,
you'd be like,
I stood
he's a
up at your
friend.
wedding, so I kind of feel obligated now.
Oh my word. Okay.
No,
So-
yeah, you were my friend.
Okay,
You were a
thank
really
you.
good friend.
Thank you. Would you die for me today? Now, I don't know the situation, but like, let's say, whatever it was, one of us had to die, but like it was an
Yeah.
option
Yeah.
that you could die for me. Would you die for me? First, that's the first question. Second question is, do you feel like this is kind of going to get in some gray area a little bit, but because I haven't really thought about it before I'm saying it, but would you die for somebody on the street that you've met one time? So I guess I'm trying to show a little bit. I'm not saying that you shouldn't die for both or you should die for both or whatever.
Yeah.
But would that make a difference at all?
Mm-hmm.
To the value of maybe a friendship you've had for your entire life versus you've had for a day?
Yeah.
Like, does that make any difference in a situation like that? Like, that's the most graphic situation possible.
Right.
But that's just I'm trying to show like a stark reality. Like,
Yeah.
you'd probably think a lot longer about the lifetime. Like that'd be like, okay, yeah. You'd be
Right.
a lot more likely, I feel like, to die for that relationship you've had for your whole life than the person you met on a street an hour ago.
Yeah.
Right? Or
Yeah.
maybe not.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I
Yeah.
think depending.
I mean, if it's me,
I'm
you're
not
like,
saying
no,
it's
he's
a good-
toast. Like, he's toast.
No, but like I'm even thinking like you're taking it death. I
I mean,
feel like it's fairly extreme because like
Yeah.
they're depending on the situation, it's just you may not necessarily die for anybody on the street. I'm not saying that's necessarily a good thing. Maybe we should. I don't know, but like
That wasn't a good, really analogy. I'm
but
just
I'm
trying
just
to
thinking of,
show
like,
the
yeah.
difference. Yeah.
I don't know. It's the type of thing of like I hear that your truck broke down or something and you really need a truck for the week or something, and like okay, hey, take my truck. Like that would be the type of deal.
Yeah.
Like Tristan,
Yep.
like if you really, really needed it for some reason, and
Like,
didn't-
I'll make
I
it
had
work.
another ride or something, I'd be
Yeah.
like, absolutely, just take my truck. You've got it. But then,
Right. So I can have your
some
truck,
dude
but
that's
you won't
walking down
die
the
for me.
road that just like, hey, like I need a truck this week. I'm not gonna necessarily be like, hey, take my truck. I mean, I may
You're
try to
better
help
at
him.
analogies. That you had another smart moment right there. The second smart moment.
It's been more than two now, but you,
Maybe. Okay, I feel like this is a fitting time to bring up a story. So there's a story that I told you guys I was gonna bring up back. Shut up. Shut up. So I told you guys I was gonna bring up a story that happened years ago that has pretty much summed up Preston and I's relationship. And since we're talking about friends,
started our relationship.
no, it did not start it. Well, okay, we'll talk about this. I gotta tell the story first. You gotta be quiet. Lest I just knock you out and then tell the story.
Okay, I'll be quiet.
Okay. So, I think it was like the first podcast I mentioned that I was probably going to have a story at some point to share, and this podcast seems very fitting to bring this up. So, I'm going to ask you for a few details, but I do not want you to elaborate on those details, okay? I'll tell the story, then we'll talk about it. How old were we, approximately? Because I don't remember. Like, I thought like 5, 6, like...
Like one newborn.
I'm gonna just knock you out and then ask you questions because I feel like you'd answer more.
Yeah, I was
knocked out.
4.
Okay, so I would have
know
been.
for a fact I was
So
4.
I would have been 7.
No, you would have been 3.
Okay.
Maybe you could have been 2 actually.
Okay, that's true. So let's say we were 4 and 3, and we were at our grandparents' house, right? I believe. Pretty sure we were at my grandpa.
No, we're at your house.
We're at my house.
Yeah, because we had flown out here.
Okay, so we're at my house. Grandpa and grandma's my house. Different thing. So we were at my house playing Legos, right? Was it Legos? It wasn't probably Legos either. Do I even know the story? I don't even know the dumb story.
So I should be telling
No, because you tell
I
it from
do
a
know
very
it.
biased perspective. Okay, so regardless.
It was Legos.
It was Legos,
Yes.
okay. So we were playing Legos, and as I recall, evidently I did something that made Preston. We were kind of friends at this point, I guess. Like, kind of. Like, we weren't really together. We weren't together that much. So we didn't really know each other that well. Yeah. I mean, we're 3 and 4. Evidently, I made him mad. I probably stole something from him. And I'm sure it was, like, I had legit reasons. But I stole something from him. And he didn't appreciate it. So he took our friendship to a whole new level and proceeded to smash something into my forehead. And I don't even remember what it was, but it left like a scar, probably a 1/2 inch long, that I still have to this day, and you can actually see it. So pretty quickly after that, I decided that, relationship's over. I mean, if you're going to like smash me in the face because I stole something that I probably had a legit reason for, then, we're probably done. So we kind of quit being friends. I'm going to let you talk here in a second. We quit being friends for a while, probably partially due to that.
All I can do is stay quiet.
I told you I was going to knock you out if you talked. Partially quiet. That's because I was still thinking. So we weren't really friends for a while. But my point is sometimes there's things in life that maybe you were friends with someone, something comes up, it becomes a hard spot, and it causes maybe a division in your friendship. But I'll maybe spur off of that. But Preston, I know you feel very differently about the situation where you could have potentially killed me if you would have kept hitting me with that object.
Word.
Dude, I was
You're
3.
making-
Dude, I was 3 years old. You could have killed me, I'm pretty sure, with
I
that.
was a 4-year-old. I mean,
Yeah, but
I
I'm
do
3.
know I was a beast, but like,
Dude, I'm 3, man. I'm like probably still drinking out of a little bottle or something.
oh, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
that would have been you.
So, what did I tell the story? Like, you to share your side of the story.
Those of you listening, you can already tell that he didn't even fully know the story. I think pretty much what he was
No,
a
because you
3-year-old.
gave me a
I
concussion.
think pretty much what really sticks with him is just the story being retold by others, and
Because I was knocked
he-
out for
he
like 10
doesn't-
minutes.
He doesn't even. I can actually remember doing it, and
That makes it worse. That makes it so.
I was old enough, but I can
much
also
worse,
vividly
dude.
remember him taking. We were playing Legos, and he took all my Lego guys. I can remember, but he took all my Lego guys, and all I had left was playing with Legos. Well, they were
Yeah.
his Legos, and so he thought he had a right to take my Lego guys.
I've
and
always been better
left
with
me
working with people.
nothing.
I've always been better with working with
Okay,
people.
now you shut up or I might knock you out. Anyway,
All right, I'm
he
shutting up.
took all my Lego guys, left me with nothing to play, and well, he was just a bad boy, and so the best way to take care of him was punish him. Best way to take care of him was just to punish him. So, best way to punish him, I mean, no parents
You're
were in the
not my
house,
parent.
or at least in the room or whatever, and so I just grabbed a Lego horse, one of the little Lego horses, and I remember just hitting him in the head because he was going. I remember him coming back and was going to grab more of my Legos and was taking everything that I needed. And so the best way
You
was
should
just
have
to hit him in
seen
the
my
head with a
city.
horse. And I can remember him bawling, and he would, like,
Dude.
Anyway, he was bawling. That all makes sense. Yes, I shouldn't have hit him in the head. No, he shouldn't have taken my Legos. We were both in the wrong. Where he took the situation wrong was then for years afterward. The closest I can remember us actually becoming like softening and maybe becoming friends somewhat was like 10-ish, 10, 11. Okay, if you remember, I was 4. So for 6, 7-ish years, he held a grudge against me.
Yeah.
And like to the extreme. Like, I have an older brother, which you're just a little bit younger than me. I have an older brother. He would like hang out with him all the time. Like, I
He
can
was more.
vividly
Your older
remember-
brother looked better than you, though. As you grew older, you kind of grew looking worse. And so I'd probably say, like, That
Yeah,
probably.
I would actually agree with you, but like,
Yep. See, there you go.
looks aside, I can vividly remember one of the Christmases you coming into Indiana, and like we're on a stairway, you're coloring, and I was coloring up on the top stairs, and you and Jaden were a couple steps down, and I can remember like I just wanted to be with you guys, so I moved down a couple steps just a little bit closer. You moved down a couple steps.
Yep.
And so I moved down a
Social
couple steps.
distancing.
You moved down
COVID.
a couple steps. And I started having fun with it because I'm like, he will not get close to me. So I moved you all the way down to the steps, and you had to go all the way back to the top. And then I started coming back up the steps. I just kept moving you around on the steps. It was kind of fun.
So you were like being mean. You were antagonizing me. You're
like,
that big jerk that was
I
antagonizing
wanted to be
me.
your friend. I remember every Christmas I'd hope, I'm like, oh, Tristan, maybe we'll actually be friendly this time. And every time it was just like,
So
nope,
it was
you wouldn't
all
look
me.
at
It was all me.
Flat face.
So if I would've
did
came-
hit you on the head. I did hit you on the head, and you do, I think, you still have a scar on
I
your
do
forehead.
still have a scar.
But
Yes,
you
I
know,
do
like
still have a
God
scar.
gave a scar to what, Jacob when they were fighting? Was it Jacob?
Yeah,
was
but
like,
that's-
it's Jacob.
Dude,
When they were
that's God fighting.
yeah, like-
I wasn't fighting God. I'm fighting some
No,
retard
but,
who
like,
wants to give me his
sometimes
horse.
you need a scar to remember things in the past. I mean, if I hadn't done that to you, like who knows what kind of shape you'd be in now, taking stuff from everybody. Anyway, moving on from there, but I do think it does show valuable lessons. Actually, going like in
It
all
shows
seriousness, in
a
life,
lot of valuable
like
lessons.
things will happen, and like obviously we were 3 and 4. Like we're great friends now. It did take a long time, but I think also in your childhood, I mean, things just blows out of proportion. It just it
Stop
seems
here for a second.
bigger.
I have invited him to come over and play Legos at my house, like recently, and he doesn't seem too excited about the idea. So I almost feel like we're not
Fully healed
100%
from it.
reconciled because I have invited him, like, hey, you want to come over and play Legos? And he's good. Like, he really doesn't want to. So anyway, you can keep going.
Yeah.
Just needed to add that in. Okay, I'm actually going to cut in here.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a good outline of the story. I feel like Preston and I like kind of had a relationship, and then that whole situation happened, and then we kind of didn't for a long time. Partially because I was holding a grudge because he had hit me. We were both in the wrong ultimately, but the lesson that I think I can take from this is there's so many situations in life where you're friends with someone.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. Maybe you've met them once, or maybe you've met them, 100 times. Maybe you're really close friends, maybe you're not.
Yeah.
Something happens and gets in between your relationship. Like, whether that's you get a little mad at each other one time because, they stole this from you or they did this to you. And then that kind of starts to bother you. And you start holding a grudge like I did.
Yeah.
As a little kid, I started holding a grudge. And then you're going, man, I want to be friends with this guy, but he won't be friends with me. It starts to build up it builds anger towards that person. And it does not help you in life. I mean, I'm actually probably a good thing we weren't friends for those 6 years, because otherwise I have no idea what it could be like now. So it's a good we're 6 years behind.
You'd be so much farther in life.
But I just I think it's super important to just not let situations in your relationships to the point where you don't reconcile them.
Yeah. No,
Like-
I
like-
would totally agree.
Preston and I had a funny moment even last weekend. There was this hike that some people were going on, and he was I'm not gonna tell the whole story,
Okay.
but he was pretty much running over me with everything possible because I didn't want to go on this hike was partially the story. And
Now you admit it.
yeah, so I didn't want to go on this hike, but it was kind of situational based. It really didn't work that great for me to. But he was going to go on this hike, and he was so going to go on this hike. And he was letting me hear about that he was going to go on this hike. Well, that morning came around, and we didn't really talk or whatever. And then I get this text message, I don't even remember what it said, but basically something about I didn't go on the hike. And I thought, I was like, oh, you hypocrite. I was like, you literally,
That's what you,
I literally, that's the first thing I thought. I think I even
that's what
called
you
him.
said, hypocrite, really.
Yeah, I literally thought I was just you hypocrite because. But so what I mean is even something like that. Now we're laughing about it, but at the time I was just what the world, dude? So that all being said, there's so many instances where you'll have things in relationships that'll happen, but it's how you circle around
But
and
yeah.
follow through with it.
And I also want to touch on the fact how important friendships are. those of you that maybe were like, I don't see tons of, like I was saying earlier, that like you have just a broad view of friends or whatever, like close friendships. Like, yeah, having a lot of friends is great. I'm going to just read a verse right here. Proverbs 18:24. A man of many companions may come to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks close to their brother. Just that concept of like, you can have tons of just like broad, it's going to ruin you, but like having a really close friend, it's like, it's going to like, yeah, your brother, you have a brother, you've grown up with him, you're going to be close, but a true friend may actually stick closer than that person, because they know you. You've talked. You've had hours longs of conversations throughout life. You've had like all kinds of things in life and throughout life, and it is like that is so important. For one, because they become like accountability to an extent just throughout life. Like they see areas of life.
Whether or not you even ask them to.
Right,
it just kind of happens.
That's what's gonna happen. Like Tristan, like I'll sometimes just like speak straight. I'm like, hey, dude, this is like you're doing this, and he'll take it fine. I mean, maybe we'll have to be like, ouch, okay, that was painful. But overall, he'll take it fine because like he knows who I am. The same with him. Like
otherwise, I'll probably get another Lego horse in the forehead, so I don't get much option.
Like this is the example. Like we can give each other a hard time at the same time. Like the next moment, we can have a lot of fun with it. But it's so important to have somebody who knows you, who's willing to call you out. And I think that's what is an important key factor in friendship, is like having someone who will do the hard, go to that hard spot.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really want to tell him this. This is going to really be painful to him, but he needs to know it. And you see the benefit in the end, so you're willing to go to that hard spot for the benefit, basically. And so that's, I want to like, I can't highlight more the fact of like, I hope you already have those close friends, those friendships, but they can be such a benefit and value.
Okay, spurring off a friendship, my animal fact today kind of plays into friends. I mean, you gotta have to do a little stretching, but it could work. So this is crazy. It's about chickens, and I'm gonna have to knock you out like 3 times this, but you're making fun of everything I said.
If it's a certain fact, I'm gonna lose it. Okay, keep going.
Chickens lay eggs. Chickens give birth to live young.
I thought only rabbits laid eggs.
Yes,
Easter.
Rabbits lay Easter eggs. Yes. Okay, so chickens can remember over 100 different faces of both humans and other chickens. They're way more socially complex than people give them credit for. They recognize individuals and can hold grudges or form friendships. Like, I don't know how I totally feel about all that, but I do think that chickens are pretty smart, actually. Okay, I think we need to take a break here for a minute, and you can apologize to the chicken ahead of time, because you are having a lot of bad thoughts about chickens right now. Dude, do you not like chicken on the barbecue or anything?
No, I do like them on the barbecue. That's a perfect place for them to be.
But you don't like a live chicken.
Dude,
you and chickens have so much in common.
That's why I'm trying to figure out. I know they can build friendships and stuff, but I'm sure your facts are true.
Oh, I'm sure they're true, dude. I am. Yeah.
Did you actually do more research, or if I actually have questions about it this time, you can answer them?
Yep. Ask them. What else do you want to know about a chicken?
Raising chickens on your own, can that possibly give you parasites in your eyes?
It can, but not really.
You have no clue.
It's more
yes.
It's more like teeth. Like it can cause plaque to develop in your teeth.
He has
which
no
means,
idea. So you were not prepared.
Which means you will have to go to the dentist. Which means you're gonna have to put more money in the budget for the dentist if you own chickens. Essentially.
If you have a budget.
No, if you don't have a budget, then you're better off.
Did we ever decide? Do you actually have a budget? Because remember, I was balancing my budget.
We went from friendship to chicken to budget.
Okay. By the way, I do have an interesting chicken fact coming off. I came from an area. Actually, this Sunday, Will Jenkins, my brother-in-law, he came up with an interesting chicken fact that I should say this because I haven't actually researched it myself, so I don't know how reliable the source is.
Well, you should say
raising chickens. If you're raising chickens, they I guess have a lot of parasites and stuff. And it's really common for if you deal with the chickens that you actually form a parasite in your eye, like a parasite worm.
Yeah, I think
like
you could
in your eye.
Yeah,
his eye doctor was telling him that. Or
dude, I see it right there poking out of your eye.
I've never raised chickens.
Oh, You're kind of like one yourself.
Yeah, I've helped raise you, I guess.
Every morning you're like, cock-a-doodle-doo.
Anyway, interesting.
Ah, cool.
That is-
So yeah, that's my fun animal fact. But I guess it kind of supposedly they can develop friends and have friends and. But I think
Yeah.
I want to circle back around
Yeah.
with how important it is to choose your friends very wisely, because I'm a firm believer of who your friends are is who you will become. I honestly, I really don't care if you disagree with me, but it's how it works. It is how it works.
I totally disagree with you.
Third time I'm gonna knock you out because I know you agree with me.
I do. I do. No.
So like the reason
it
Preston and I
will play
hang out is
such
because
a-
we kind of counteract like the good and bad of each other. No, I'm kidding. We don't
I'm all the
really.
good, you're all the bad.
Yes.
It kind of keeps us tamed.
I'm all the good, you're all the bad. Yeah, sounds about right. But basically, just
Yeah.
pick your friends wisely. I've seen situations in life where it paid off for people when they picked their friends right, and I've seen where it didn't work out good.
And I don't feel like I've been very blessed. God has very, very much blessed me just with really good peer groups and friends in my life. But I have seen situations where like they're doing very well, and then they form this friendship with just one person or something.
It can be one person.
down, and it is very sad, but it's very true. Like that is so. Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like it would come on like without you even realizing it. It's not like you're just like, ooh, this is a sketchy person.
Right.
I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
gonna go for it. It could be like, oh, it starts out good, but then they just slowly but surely kind of pull you away or something.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this is okay. Just
Yep.
do this with me, and then
And that's very, and I think that's how most of the time it works.
yeah.
And I'm not saying that all these, it's all bad. It's just pick your friends wisely.
Yeah.
You know, Preston and I, like, we had to choose our friendship several different times because he tried to knock me out a
Friendship's a
couple times
choice.
with a horse. But it's
Yeah.
like, we're probably, I would say, a pretty good influence now. We probably would have been kind of like, I don't know if we've always been the best influence in each
There's a
other's
lot of
life.
stories. That
Yeah.
is for sure.
Like, I don't know if it's always been the best influence.
Yeah.
But it's always been good. Like, it's not like we've been running around doing bad stuff. So, just, I'd say be very careful on
Very,
picking
very,
friends.
Very much, yeah. But at the same time, like if you can find that person that's just like that is good, that is helpful in your life, that you can actually invest in, and that's another thing.
Right,
Even
yep.
a friendship, it's not all a give situation. It's not all a receive situation. I mean, it's a give back. I mean, as much as you're gonna gain from the situation, it's investing in a friendship is so beautiful too. And like having the opportunity to invest in somebody else.
You're like
to be
holding a gun,
accountable.
dude. That's kind of weird. Okay, yo,
To invest in somebody.
whoa. Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
that's so cool. But also, is a lot of fun. Just letting you know, like it's a blast. Friends are like we've
it's-
made so many memories. We have
Times
so
we've
many
laid on the
stories.
floor
Some
and
we can't tell.
laughed.
Some we will not tell. I don't care. Like he did finally come up with. I didn't really want him to share that story, but it came out. I think it's totally fine because it's totally
In this
justified.
situation, I think it's
was
really
totally
good.
fine.
I think
But there are
he-
certain stories will not probably come out about a friendship, but you'll always just have those fun memories. It's just like that'll live a lifetime.
absolutely. Well, okay.
Pass on to our
So
kids and everything.
I have a verse here.
Okay.
This is kind of awkward because you know how usually at the end of our podcast we like to end with a verse. Well, it's really awkward when your podcasting partner mentions the verse
No, are
that
you serious?
you were going to end the podcast with. So
Oh,
I'm
beautiful.
gonna say that the same verse.
It's
I'm gonna read the
meant to
full
be.
verse, and then I have a few things to say about it.
Because
but-
I mean, this makes it evident we don't talk about it ahead of time, so
yeah,
you get what you get.
clearly. So a man, I don't even know why I'm saying it again, but
No, it's good.
a man who has friends must himself be friendly, but there's a friend who sticks closer than a brother.
See, I did it in different versions, so this is good.
You did it in different
Two
versions,
different
so
versions,
this is good.
This is
So-
really quality.
Just the few thoughts I'm gonna have here is, if you want friends, you got to be that guy that's willing to step out and make friends. That's point number one. But also, quit! I'm gonna knock you out after this is done. My second point, I'm not gonna hold fingers up this time. My second point is, there is someone though who will literally be the best friend you can possibly get, and that's Jesus. I mean, it's harder to get a friend better than Preston, but I'm pretty sure.
Amen, brother.
Amen, brother. Yeah, well, that's good. Jesus is the closest friend you'll get. Okay, so that's my second point. My third point is,
I don't know if that did it. Anyway.
my third point is I don't even know. For some reason, balloons just went across the screen. That's why we're laughing right now.
Yeah,
But-
for the podcast, they will see that on the video though. You
Really?
can't get rid of it.
I have no idea what happened there. That's funny.
Anyway.
Well, everyone, thank you for listening. This has
What
been
was the third
this has
point?
been an awesome. We don't know what the third point was. The third point is like the end.
Have fun, party. Please get
Thank
up.
you everybody for listening. This was awesome.